for that matter, any country that visits India, நல்லா ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணி ஐஐடி எக்ஸாமுக்கு ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுற மாதிரி வராங்க. நான் ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணின்னு நம்ம என்னடா ஆனால் ஹேவிங் ரியலி ப்ரீமியம் ஸ்பின். பட் ஹியர் இஸ் வேர் வி வாண்ட் தெம் டு டைட்டன் அப். I mean, lot of respect for the two, but when you do something wrong, obviously we have to call it out because we are the coaches.
Excuse me.
Welcome to another episode of the Coaches, and this week we'll be talking about cricket this week. Over to you, Priyesh.
Hi, welcome to another episode. We have a lot of to cover in this episode, and as usual, we will go to red ball first and then white ball. In the red ball, we will see the second test of India versus England, whether it was a JamBall or a BazBall, and then we will quickly go into the Srilanka Afghanistan test and the New Zealand versus South Africa test. Over to you, Rama. JamBall, BazBall.
I mean, it's hard to say because sometimes India also plays like BazBall, but in this case, a steady start. I think what got us on the map is நம்ம Jaiswal said, சரி இருங்கப்பா நான் கொஞ்சம் மெதுவாக ஆடுறேன்னு சொல்லி சாலிடாக ஆரம்பித்தான். Still the run rate was high. அப்புறம் பையன் was really accelerating. I remember how he got to the 200 with a 6 and a 4 and great innings. So firstly, some of the Pudu Sarakku is now firing. So Jaiswal, obviously we all know it's a great story and he continues to do really well for India. Good innings from Gill. So பையன் வந்து நடுவில் வந்து டெங்கு கிங்குன்னு கீழே போயிட்டு இருந்தான்.
ஒருத்தன் தூங்கிட்டு இருக்கும்போது ஒரு கொசு வந்து கடிச்சதுன்னு வச்சுக்கேன், அந்த கொசு பெரிய ஆள் ஆயிடாது.
Now he's back, so he's back with a very solid 100. Lot of chances he got. So ஆனா என்ன ஆச்சுன்னு தெரியல, something clicked. So hopefully something good that will continue. And then what can we say about Bumrah? So awesome.
So I think Gill வந்து lucky man அந்த மாதிரி because first DRS he said I didn't feel the inside edge.
Correct.
Okay. And then another DRS was umpires called konjo different. So that's what you need as a luck when your chips are down. So he made it count. Jaiswal, what a innings. Okay, double 100. He was playing on another wicket and he didn't throw it away as we said in the last episode, which I will link here. All the other batsmen stole it away in this match and the last match also. This match we should have had 550 in the first innings, but only 400. But thank God Pope Andevar or whatever then make the runs. So we could bowl them out. And Bumrah, man, what a spell. And that Yorker of Oli Pope.
Wow. Yeah.
So and Root doesn't know how to play Bumrah. Okay, there was an analysis that in the first match he got LPW to Bumrah. So to counter his pad or foot, he changed the stance, and then he didn't know whether the ball is coming in or going away in the first innings, and then he got out. And then second innings, what a strange innings by Root.
He's going for shots very hardly. We have seen him do. Was he injured that he thought he's going to throw away his wicket?
That is what DK said. But if you're injured, why are you coming to play? You could have given Barrister or Stokes up the order, and then you could have come down. So very, very strange innings. But what I wanted to mention in the test is both the wicket keepers kept wickets very well. Okay, especially folks was Aryan to this conditions. They both of them kept wickets. But number ஒரு மாப்பிள்ள ashwin is one short of 500.
ஆமா பாவம் கையில எட்டினது வாய்க்கு இன்னும் எட்டல.
அது அவ்வளவுதான், டைம் முடிஞ்சது, வா.
499 wickets. I thought he'll get his 500 here. So பையனால 500 அடிக்க முடியல போல இருக்கு.
So
one thing I saw was Stokes oda captaincy, and when their spinners were bowling was just spot on, aggressive, always wants to get wickets, right? But Rohit வந்து I think commentary சொன்னாங்க, right? The moment England started, they started playing really well, right? உடனே field spread பண்ணிட்டு very defensive kind of mindset, which is not good, right? ஏன்னா you still want to keep attacking. We all know test cricket is a game of sessions, and all it takes is a few good overs, ரெண்டு wicket falls, and then everything which happened. Ana, that I was not super impressed. And England spinners, man, I don't know, for that matter, any country that visits India, நல்லா ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணி ஐஐடி எக்ஸாமுக்கு ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுற மாதிரி வராங்க. நான் ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணின்னு நம்ம என்னடா ஆனால் ஹேவிங் ரியலி ப்ரீமியம் ஸ்பின், somehow it doesn't pop for me when I watch on screen.
A couple of points. One is Rohit's captaincy. I think he is feeling the pressure of a test cricket, because and that is affecting his batting also, because test cricket la 90 overs you have to be switch on, and we said it in the last episode that the coaching staff are not helping him on the data, and for England, Bashir and Hartley, who haven't played much first class cricket also, they picked them because of the height and high arm action, that they can get the bounce or whatever in Indian tracks. This series they didn't go for usual how teams prepare for India. You have to have played a lot of games in the first class, a lot of wickets on the Murray. And that is also a typical BazBall, I think, because getting in rookies into a pressure series only because of their skills, not because of what they have done in the past.
Right.
That is also very we have to appreciate that philosophy or the mindset, and Stokes is championing them all the way.
Correct.
Yeah. So first test la Hartley, if he was another cricketer from another country, first 6 hours 60 avadala,
correct.
but Stokes continued with him, and Bashir was the hot topic of visa.
Correct.
And it did also very well in his first test. So,
and I think see, always it's the captain and the coach, that combination, when you get it right, then I think it's a super great flow, right, for the entire team. And with Baz, McCallum and Stokes, I think they got it spot on. And it reminds me quite a bit of how Dhoni and Fleming at the other end of steady heads who sort of do it. We also saw Virat and Shastri, right? That was a great combination. In hindsight, I wish we had kept them longer. But see, I think a lot of respect to what Rohit and Dravid the Wall do. But I think they have to get this right. If Rohit is having trouble inside, that's where the staff inside, summa laptop pathunu starts pathunu irundha use kediyadhu ba. You got to start getting the input in and help people through. But overall, great performance. India won. Ashwin with the 3 for pakatla 500 pakatla irukan. And then we have another 10 tests this year. So hopefully he can pick up another 40-50 wickets. And then by end of the year, he's at 550, 560. Then 60 short of Anil Kumble. That will be awesome.
And to wrap this test, Bumrah is the number 1 test bowler or in the ICC rankings, and is the first bowler pacer from India to be number 1, and number 1 in all the 3 formats as a pacer, first for India. So
சந்திரமுகியில ஜோதிகா மாதிரி ராரான்னு பயமுத்துறான் எல்லாரையும். which is awesome.
Yeah, so now we will go to Sri Lanka versus Afghanistan. It was a very, very interesting match because Sri Lanka scored big in the first innings. Number favorite Angie Matthews hit the century. I mean, I think he should come to CSK because he's close to 40. That's army.
Correct.
And in the last 6 months, he is scoring for Sri Lanka in every format. But
Correct.
last 1 year, he was not in the team at all. அந்த மாதிரி
பையன் ஹிட் விக்கெட் வேற இல்ல.
ஆமா, he got hit wicket after scoring 140. என்னடா பண்ற அந்த மாதிரி.
நான் சொல்றேன்ல, என்ன பண்ணாலும் இங்க என்ன சொல்லுது, ஆஞ்சி ஆஞ்சி சொல்லுது மாதிரி,
இங்க என்ன சொல்லுது,
ஆஞ்சி ஆஞ்சி
சொல்லுங்க.
whatever he does, right, in the end he reminds me of VTV Ganesh. Ultimately that one வந்து you take a lot of time to come outside into the crease, or you spend lot of time in the crease and then you hit your stump instead of the ball. என்ன நடக்குது
இங்க, என்ன நடக்குது?
I think comedy pace, that's all it is. And then Chandemal also got 100. He was, I think 6 or 7 years before, he was tainted as the biggest thing in Australian cricket. But
அதுக்கப்புறம் எல்லாம் taunted தான்.
ஆமா, tainted and taunted அந்த மாதிரி. And then Afghanistan first innings didn't match the score, but second innings they fought very, very well. At a point they were third day they were 60 or 70 runs behind the Sri Lankan score, and then they ended up scoring 400 in the second innings. But they were, bowled out in the fourth day, and the Sri Lanka won the game very easily. But what is interesting is Zardran gave the Test debut cup to his uncle.
Uncle, வாங்க uncle, விளையாடலாம்.
வாங்க அங்கிள், விளையாடலாம்.
அந்த மாதிரி his uncle is Noor Ali Zardran was 35 or 38. So
என்ன இருந்தாலும் இவன் ஒண்ணு, அவன் 100. So நூர் அலி.
And he's also uncle of Mujibur Rahman. So Ibrahim and Mujib are in 20 something. Okay. அந்த மாதிரி. So reverse
uncle. ஊருக்கே uncle. நீ சொல்றது பார்த்தா எப்படின்னா, இந்த மகாபாரதால வந்து ஆக்சுவல் செட்டிங் இஸ் சப்போஸ் டு பி செட் இன் ஆப்கானிஸ்தான், அந்த கொஞ்சம் சம் பார்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் இட், ரைட்? ஸோ அங்கே வந்து எப்படி துரியோதனனும் வந்து ஷகுனியும் வந்து நல்ல ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் ஆகி உனக்கு வந்து மகாபாரதா வாரில் உனக்கு ஒரு சான்ஸ் கொடுக்குறேன்னு கொடுத்தா மாதிரி இவன் வந்து கூப்பிட்டான் போல இருக்கு, அங்கிள் வாங்க அங்கிள் விளையாடலான்னு.
If it was a reverse in India, the uncle would have said, "Your age is my experience." Inga சொல்றப்பா அது reverse. அந்த மாதிரி. So that's the test for Sri Lanka and Afghanistan. And then we will go to New Zealand versus South Africa. One thing which we said the last 2 episodes before, I will link that here, that South Africa went to New Zealand with a depleted team because every top cricketer of SA was in the SA 20. So they had a new captain called Neil Brand, who took a 6-4 in the first innings, but before Kiwis had hit 500 plus, and Kane scored centuries in both innings, and number CSK Kuti Singham, who's supposed to come, Rara, is scored a double century.
ஸோ அவன் பேர் வந்து நீல் பிராண்டா இல்லை நியூ பிராண்டா எங்கேயாவது அவனை பிடிச்சி போட்டாங்க போல இருக்கு. அண்ட் செகண்ட்லி ஐ லைக் திஸ் வேர் எவ்ரிபடி இஸ் அலைன். டேய் நமக்கு வந்து சவுத் ஆஃப்ரிக்கா 20ல தான் காசு வருது, நேஷனல் ஸ்குவாடை விட்றா, இங்கே போட்டு ஆடுவோன்னு சொல்லி எல்லாரும் அலைன்டா போர்ட்லேருந்து பிளேயர்ஸும் ஆடுறாங்க பாரு. அதான் காசு பணம் துட்டு மணி மணி தான்.
காசு பணம் கொட்டு மணி மணி.
The South Africa bowl doesn't care of a WTC or ICC tools. They are saying we will make money in our country in SS 20. So we want the big players here.
And man, Kane Willamson, right? He's been solid for New Zealand over the years. And Paya in the format adnalum, not just scoring with runs, a great team man who essentially wants to do the right thing for it. But it's good to see him score 2 centuries, so which is good to watch. So it's going to be
Came Mama after the freak injury. Is scoring a lot of runs.
Yeah.
And simple class, that's all it is, and a good way to pivot to Indian squad for the rest of the series. Why segue is Virat Kohli will miss the entire series, but in 2020 he was the leading century maker in the Fab 4. Fab 4 na Virat, Root, Kane Mama and Agent Smith. Now is the least in test centuries among the 4. So it shows that you have to play cricket first. Second, you can't take a personal absence every time. Okay. It is like a Talewali after the NFL that you don't go to school or office. அந்த மாதிரி. So
but ஆனா இந்த கேஸ் I think they are expecting their second kid ன்னு சொன்னாங்க.
Of the day, and the rumor is maybe they had a miscarriage for the second one year before or whatever, so he wants to be with it. I mean, I'm not doubting his commitment to Indian cricket. So 15 years of non-stop rigor, if it's the case.
And in some ways, right, some of these breaks are also good. He can come back. Remember like 2-3 years back, Kohli வந்து எதுவுமே அடிக்க மாட்டேங்கிறான், அவனை ட்ராப் பண்ணு அது இதுன்னாங்க, வச்சு செஞ்சுட்டான் அப்புறம். So I think as you get after all these 15 years, it's a good thing, it's a personal break, but you're right, he has to, if you want to be the top, you have to manage your personal and this side by side somehow or the other. And if he needs to get to his 50 test centuries, that's going to be like super hard.
And we talk about diversity in men. Okay, let's take a paternal leave.
Correct.
So the Indian squad, Virat is not there. Any morning news, Kane will miss the third test. And Ambi, enna aachu Ambi is dropped or Ambi has back.
நீ வந்து படம் பார்த்துட்டே இருக்க, சங்கர் வந்து இவ்வளவு கால் ஷீட் தான் வந்து அன்னியனுக்கு வைக்க முடியும். சீன் அம்பிக்கும் சீன் வச்சானும்ல.
மே கம் இன் தேவையில்லை.
So Iyer is now back in the temple, I think. So see, the thing is, as much as we love him and so on, he has to know to temper his aggression and play at certain stages, right? Even in this game, I know it was a fabulous catch, right? Stokes pudichon second test, but and the madri you will have to first counter the short ball, get there, and then you have to get your emotions right. Captain valla pesindru irundanga, Delhi la captain arna before he got injured and all those things. He has to do better. I think he's been dropped. I think Dravid probably mentioned it, and if that's the case, come back stronger. So I think I agree with that.
My question is now, if you drop him and KL is not available, you will give Sarfraz or Particle test debut where Shreyas has played a bunch of games for India.
Right.
So what are you doing? One. Second one, Akash Deep, pacer. He will never play in the next 3 games. What are you doing? And if you see Sarfraz and Particle, we are a batter shot.
Yeah. No, I think that part I agree, right? சும்மா வந்து திராவிட் வந்து அகரகர் கூப்பிட்டு மச்சான் போர் அடிக்குதுடா டே ஒரே டீம் எல்லா டெஸ்ட்லயும் போடுறோம் இவனை உட்காரவே அவனை எடுக்கிற மாதிரி
டே மணி கல்லி போடா டே சுரேஷ் மிட்டான் போ சொன்னா கேளுடா மிட்டான் போடா
people just get these chances for no reason and there is no plan, right? You give Particle, now are you really grooming him to be a middle order batsman, right? Ada panna poriya illati you have a standby. Pujara is playing well, the series is 1-all, right? You need a solid batsman. Virat Kohli illa, Rahul illa, put Pujara in that squad, you get stability. And we know நாளைக்கு you can drop Pujara, nobody is going to ask you anything because he's makeshift. அவன் career முடிய போகுது. இந்த மாதிரி சின்ன பசங்களை வச்சு you toy around and I agree with you, right? ஆகாஷ் தீப் யார் இதெல்லாம்
மச்சான் யாரா இவனுங்க எங்கிந்திரா வந்துக்கறாங்க
வந்து சும்மா ஜெனரலா கொண்டு வந்துட்டு this is just toying with the thing. I don't know what the thinking process is, right? And if
whatever the thinking process, Rama, you will play maximum 2 paces.
Correct, and you already have them. Yeah.
Maybe you will rest Bumrah in this test. Maybe we don't
But
know.
I have a doubt, man. I mean, 1-all. Okay, it's a 5-test series. It's a critical third test, right? Unless he's really having a niggle and you're pushing him, I agree. But if not, now is not the time to experiment, especially if your batting is going to be so weakened. You got to go for the kill and go to 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, they are talking about too many games. That's why they rested Siraj the previous game. But if you see, Siraj played last 12 months every game. Bumrah played only the last 6 months before because of injury. So Bumrah and Siraj will play if they are fit. What are you going to do with Mukesh and Akash Dev now?
Right.
And you have Washi in the squad. How are you going to play him? Okay, so these are bowlers. But if Sarfraz or Pathun fails in the game, you don't have a backup batsman. Correct. So you are thinking that Rahul and Jatu will come back and they will play a batsman. I don't know what they're doing.
At least overseas squad na டேய் வாடா உனக்கு ஊரை காட்டுறேன்னு 4 பேர் போலாம். இந்தியால தான் ஆடுறீங்க, அப்புறம் எதுக்கடா இது பண்ண? I mean, I don't know what the thinking process there is, but it is what it is. It is the show that Mr. Jammy is putting together for us, and we will watch whatever they show. So
yeah, I think it's time for Rohit and Jam to make way for the next cop. I think Bumrah will the captain in the test, and maybe KL will be in white ball because I have said he will not keep in this series, KL. And if you see the trade in IPL which Rajasthan and Giants did, they caught Particle to Awasam Khan. Why? Because Rahul said I will play in the middle order in IPL. That is why Particle will open, because I think they want him to be in the middle order for the T20 World Cup. So what happens to Ishan Kishan?
correct, yeah.
So you have to be clear to everybody and the youngsters, because Ishan said mental fatigue in the South Africa tour and went off.
Correct. See, I think the way Shastri and Virat handled punt in the early phases when he was down and brought him back, when you draw a comparison to how Ishan Kishan has been handled by Dravid and Rohit, it's not right. 200 in the one-day years, and then you tied around with him, and who knows, if you had given him the right kind of positioning in the World Cup, it would have been a completely different World Cup. So that is a little, I know you can't do justice to everybody. I know there will be a few misses here and there, but here is where we want them to tighten up. I mean, a lot of respect for the two, but when you do something wrong, obviously we have to call it out, because we are the coaches.
Excuse me.
So we will go to the white ball. I said we have a lot of to cover. Over to you, Rama. White ball.
So Sri Lanka versus Afghanistan. Sri Lanka is the team that I always, I pick them and I know that they're going to do awesome. First one day Nissanka double century, right? 210 of 140 odd balls, and the first Lankan to do so. So I think
Ama?
more and more we are watching now that the white ball cricket and how things are changing with it's a batsman's game. So everybody is now getting to score their double hundreds, so which is amazing. I mean, Afghanistan was a last cause. I mean, they started, that anyway, game முடிய போகுது. But rather than folding, I think I caught up the last few live பார்த்தேன். I saw Nabi and Umar Zai both come and score centuries, and eventually you know what the result is going to be. Second one day, slightly better, right? Slightly better, இவன் 97 not out again, Srilanka. We had all these terms and we had the memes for these people in World Cup games. Please, subscribers, go watch those things. It was a lot of fun. And then 3 other people also scored 50. So good performance by Sri Lanka in overall. And Afghanistan folded for 150 odd. Then we had the old workhorse, Hasaranga, the left arm spinner. He got
Right arm.
Right arm. He got, correct. He got 4 wickets. Right or left or he got 4 wickets.
And RCB must be, killing themselves because they left out Asaranga part. Is doing very well. After his injury, is taking buckets loads of wickets.
Then Captain Miller படம் பார்த்தேன். He goes to Ceylon after some time or plans to go to Ceylon. So good to see Lanka coming back. Don't see Captain Miller அவ்வளவு impressive இல்ல.
I know.
I know.
What, yeah?
I know.
Okay, next Australia versus Westindies. So over to you.
I think Westindies is a powerhouse in the T20 format. In the ODI format, they are not getting it right because it's a mix of test match players and T20. And majority of the T20 players play franchisee leagues and they sign up only for T20 for the Windies. So they miss a lot of top players in the ODI and they were outgone 3-0 in the ODI. But Fraser McGurk, remember their name, is 23 or 24 and is playing franchisee cricket all over the world, Aussie. And Sevak Murray, it doesn't care what the score is or what the ball is. Basically 200 strike rate, some prayer. As usual, Aussies are rebuilding for next World Cup, one day World Cup. Okay.
அதாவது சீக்கா சொல்ற மாதிரி பட்டா பாக்கியம் இல்லாட்டி லேகியம் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் பிளேயரா?
பட்டா பாக்கியம் படலனா லேகியம்ட்டாரு.
But they are okay with that. Okay, because if he is able to score 60 or of 25, you put the opposition on the back foot.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the replacement they want for Warner. Because Warner is retired from ODI also.
Yes.
He's playing in the T20, I think, till the World Cup. Okay.
Right.
And he had a good knock also, 70 of 30 or whatever in the first T20. And second T20, the big show, Max, 120 of 50 or whatever. Are they stand and deliver? He doesn't do anything.
Hey, please ra, ஒரு 2 ரன்னாவது ஆடுறா.
That 200 we saw அந்த மாதிரி தான் it was. And I think people should see the 200 video to know how to bowl to him. That's all it is.
Yeah, I think big kudos to Australia. Ever since Simpson and Allan Border decided to rebuild this team, right, in 1987-86, on that time there, been a powerhouse for the last 35-40 years, and to do this over such a long time, you need a culture that fosters this mindset, picks people who are like really good in what they do, groom them. ஒரு காலத்தில் ஸ்பின் இல்லைன்னு சொன்னாங்க. Then they made sure that they get spinners, and obviously one of the greatest leg spinners of all time, the late Shane Warne. So they have just done,
And one of the greatest of spinners in Lion.
Oh yeah, correct. You're right. Because we forget what Nathan Lyon has done, and when he bowls the off spin, right, he's been from a record standpoint, yeah, out there with Ashwin. But even in tests, when he comes to India, and then they bowl, it's just been amazing. Warner has been like some attacking phase of mind. They always had these kinds of players in the past. Whether it was Dean Jones, everybody was always there. But Warner has taken it to a different level. And with the captaincy, right, they've got Cummins, which is a very level head. Ellarum on the Maxwell 200 pacer chair, the one of the other end, he was batting slowly, but yet he knew that he had to play that knock to make sure that the other end was secure, and they won the game. So big shout out to Australia. I think here is where India has the talent. We have got the games right now. We got the money. But rather than toying around, you got to just select your 15-20 players. And if it's so be it that you have a squad for test, a squad for ODI and 2020. So you have a pool of 40-50 players with a slight level of overlap. Then that's good too. So people can specialize. They know their role.
We have 50 cricketers who have got the BCCI contract.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you get the cricketers from that contract?
Correct.
Arkadeep is not a contracted player.
Right.
Why do you give him get him to the squad itself? So we don't know.
I think career and salaries have gone up in Ranji and other phase. So people can truly get a career out of cricket nowadays. It's so everybody cannot play at the national level, and they cannot play there consistently. That's just how it is. Competition. And if somebody is good, nobody's place is secure, right? You will get bumped. That's the way it has to be. So let's see. Hopefully India will sort of pull it off. But then to your point, right, Windies, they are definitely like a powerhouse in the shorter version of the game. And I think you wanted to mention how the fact that they're going to be playing here is going to have a big role to play, right?
Yeah, because the next World Cup in June is US and Windies, but US la konjam games I think the Super 6 or the Super 8 angande will be in the Windies, okay? And they know the condition very well because of CPL. They are playing every year. They know what the conditions would be in every ground, okay? And they have power hitters. That's all. That is no technique. Adala Katapara cricketers, and they are muscle men on the mari. So they know how to play. Okay, they will not be flared even to chase 220 or 240 in their ground. When they try to chase 200 or 220 in Australia with the bigger grounds, they are one to look at for the World Cup for sure. And the T20 format is I think the simplest and the greatest format for them currently.
Correct. Yeah.
So, yeah. And other thing, when we are talking about Australia, Mitch Marsh won the Allan Border Medal for the year. It was an emotional speech, but Cummins and him were the top two, I think, and they are very close friends also. So, and very emotional and funny speech by Mitch Marsh, but it points out to the mentality of Australia. So 3 years before, he was nobody because he was not scoring. Then the T20 World Cup changed his fortunes, but injury prone. Okay, but whenever he is not injured, you can count on Andamari. We have to have a all-rounder for India that way.
Correct. அதுவும் என்ன டேவிட் புனடா பண்ற, ஏன்னா அவனோட பார்ட்னர் ஜெஃப் மார்ஷோட பசங்க இப்படி ஆடிட்டு இருக்காங்க. டேவிட் புனோட அம்மா அப்பா சொல்றோம், உன் பையன் ஏன்டா விளையாட மாட்டேங்கிறான் இப்படின்னு. இஃப் யூ ஆர் தேர் பேரண்ட், அன்ஃபார்ச்சுனேட்லி குட் ஃபார் ஹிம் தட் இஸ் நாட். ஸோ நல்லா தப்பிச்சிட்டான். எல்லாம் பெரியவாளை பத்தி பேசிட்டோம், கொஞ்சம் சின்னவாளை பத்தி பேசுவோம்.
ஆமா. ஆஸ்திரேலியா again
Under 19
same
World Cup.
huh?
Under 19 World Cup.
19 World Cup. We talked about how the Indian team was unbeaten to the World Cup final, like the men's team, and they lost the finals to Australia again.
இது வந்து ஏன் சோக கதைய கேளு தாய்க்குலமே அந்த பாட்டை போடுற மாதிரி. Man, the script was very similar to how India had played, right? Completely the men's cricket team were unbeaten and then they lost. அதான் அந்த இதுல சொல்லுவானே மைக்கேல் மன்ன காமராஜ், அந்த லைக் சேம் பிளட்னு
Why blood? Same blood.
இன்னொரு படத்துல சொல்ற மாதிரி. Man, they lost again, right? End of the day, people don't remember the runner-ups. Yeah, they may acknowledge at that moment, but ultimately it's the winners who essentially get the roost, which is rightfully so.
And we can't keep saying we had a good tournament and one bad day. Nobody cares.
Correct.
It's a final. If it's another day where you have the bad day, everybody will discount it. So again, the mentality. We spoke about it in the final review of the World Cup. That mentality of grit and determination to win. If we don't inculcate it in the under 19s, how will we inculcate it when some of them graduate to the men's team? So but we have 4 or 5 very good prospects in
yeah, that's true. See, eventually one thing I saw is even in the previous game they said Bangara come back from Saharan and Sachin Das, and they are the best Pannangan. Even there's a few chances that went through the slips. I think on the pace attack, like in South Africa, bouncy wickets, innum kuda slipla catches, right? People are still not there. I'm wondering why. And as much as 2020 has helped to bring talent out, and the core technique of how to play, I feel it's diminishing. Whereas I don't know if every country is becoming so relaxed. Every country has got a way of bringing their own skills to the game. Australia and England, if I compare to the past, I don't see a big difference in the play style of players. But India, the solid way by which you could get people to play, right from, if you say, Gavaskar, G.R. Vishwanath, and if you take and then if you take our crop of people that we grew up with, right, the Lakshmans, the Dravids, the Tendulkars, even Ganguly, right, he had a way. Obviously he didn't move his leg, etc., but he had his way of countering it. And even Sehwag, right, he was unique, right? அதுக்காக எல்லாரும் சேவாக் ஆக முடியாது. I feel India has to just go back to the drawing boards in some ways and see what are they doing at the core skills level of players and not over-index too much on 2020. So that's important.
I think you would touch upon the point earlier in the episode that now you can cricketers for porum, okay, but when I know that there are 1,000 players who are knocking on 16 spots in the Indian cricket team, the next one I want to make it big in IPL. So that if I don't get the 10 crore contract with the BCCI, at least I have a 1 crore or 2 crores or 5 crores contract with IPL. Correct. So if I play for 5 or 6 years, I'm done.
Correct.
Like our Shah Rukh Khan in Tamil Nadu, I don't think ever he will play for India because he has not scored enough in Ranji or T20 in IPL or lower leagues. Okay, so but he's protected by money because every year he will get 1 or 2 crores franchisees pay for. That's
Correct.
all.
Correct. Yeah, and
So
see,
if
net, what do you want? You want to have a way to exhibit your talent. You want to be challenged and play with like-minded competitive people, and then you want to be compensated. So to your point, he's getting all that in IPL. right? He's able to show his talent, get visibility, play with other people who push him, and kasu, panam, duddu, money. So yeah.
But to your point that we have to concentrate on technique or whatever doesn't apply to this generation, because they maybe they don't see themselves playing test cricket at all.
Correct. Yeah.
So ICC and BCCI or all the boards have to introduce something which is incentivized for test cricket also. Otherwise it will die.
அவன் செத்துட்டான்டா.
Correct. Yep. Anyway, you were mentioning the players to watch. I think we should do.
Yeah. You called out Uday Sar was the captain. He was the highest run getter for India.
Yeah.
Sachin Das, middle order, who has doesn't not have a IPL contract. I don't know. And then we have Araveli,
keeper.
From Hyderabad. We talked about Sauma Pandey and Mushil Khan in the last episode. I think these are 5 which I came to my eye. So
and then the off spinner in the Tamil Nadu churns out off spinners. Abhishek Murugan is there.
So Andamari, and we had another spinner from Tamil Nadu. I don't remember his name. He didn't get a game, but he was in the squad also. So I think that these are the 6 players who I have seen who have maybe have the chance to come, but you don't know. We saw Mari 2 years or 3 years you can disappear.
We saw right now. Yeah.
Wait, I think it is his last IPL season if he doesn't score. Shot.
Yeah.
But he has to cut down 50% of his weight. I don't know. So that's the wrap for the long episode. Thanks for staying
South
so
Africa
far.
20 irukku. If you want to briefly just touch on it, and then we can wrap.
Yeah. South Africa 20 or SA 20 was won by Sunrisers East Cape. Kaviar Manan was very, very happy. Second win in 2 seasons. And our CSK or JSK, Joburg Super Kings, were out in the table, but backdoor entry Mari, they came to the qualifier, won that, and then we lost to Super Giants in the qualifier too. But as we said, all the top players are there, so they then depleted the team to New Zealand. So
and for those of you who are confused seeing நம்ம ஐபிஎல் டீம் எங்கடா சவுத் ஆப்பிரிக்கால இருக்குன்னு நினைச்சீங்கன்னா, எப்படி இட்லி தோசை ரெஸ்டாரண்ட் வேர்ல்டு எல்லா இடத்துலயும் இருக்கிற மாதிரி நம்ம ஐபிஎல் டீம் ஓனர் தான் எல்லா டீமையும் ஓன் பண்றாங்க. So they actually bought teams in South Africa. So JSK is CSK.
And then Texas Super Kings in the US T20. I think Super Kings do not have a team in the CPL or the IL T20, but all the franchises have teams in both the leagues. So whatever. So that's now a long episode. Thank you for being here, and please subscribe, share, and like this episode. Bye.